Well, I'll edit this together into something that can be hopefully entertaining and informational. We'll have more to say in the 70s, I promise you, folks. And
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
have more people and stuff like that. We all do all
Hmm.
different. We'll definitely have a hell of a lot more to say. But yeah, if you want to check out this era, you can. That's my thing. But you don't really need to.
Pretty much what you just said. I mean, like, if you want to read the era, I wouldn't spend all this money on, the omnibus and stuff like that. I would, as cheap as it is, the essentials that are black and white and kind of boring and bland. Um, if you want to read this era, I wouldn't, drop $40 on on the
No.
masterwork stuff. I would probably torrent it or get it on the essentials or something
Mm.
like that because I mean, it's really silly and it's not for everyone. I don't really think I wouldn't want you to go and pay $40 for something that you're probably not going to like seriously. So I'd either torrent it or get it for a really cheap price because they're not really serious stories or anything like that.
No. Joe, what about you? What's your wrap up for the 60s?
Well, it's like for me, it's one of those things where I can say it's definitely not something that you can read from start to finish because it's just so difficult. But if you wanted to know where some of these characters came from, then I think it might be interesting just reading like the first appearances of, like just read the issues of here's the first appearance of the Brotherhood, here's um, the first appearance of the Blob, Vanisher, people like that, like the key ones. That way you can kind of see where they came from. But for the most part, it's I don't see modern readers just enjoying this at all, other than for the laugh of it.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because if you look at the modern reader, especially the younger ones, they want art and they want it flashy. They want it, like the widescreen um, view, like the widescreen treatment. And this has nothing like that. I mean, the backgrounds are horrible. The costumes are bad. The clothing, just even like the day-to-day mannerisms that they used to do in the past, which was acceptable in a comic, they just don't do anymore. But it's also, I think, interesting to see the way the writers looked at the world. Especially there's like issues in the 60s and 70s where there's like they deal with race issues and the way they look at women and things like that. So that part is kind of interesting in terms of a historical point. But other than that, it's just I mean, I would just get the essentials and just leave it at that type thing. I wouldn't
Yeah.
invest a lot of money into it.
No,
Unless of
unless
course
it's an
you were
investment.
well, and if you were a diehard X-Men fan type thing, then that's a little bit different. But for the casual reader, or like a person who just likes the X-Men, it's like I said, it's a tough read.
Yeah, I've never met any huge X-Men fan who loves the early stuff because it's
Right.
just so different from the X-Men that we know and love that that it would later become under Claremont. And pretty much the way I see it, Stan Lee had the idea for the X-Men. Jack Kirby, Claremont created the X-Men in my mind. Um, Along with
Right.
Len Wein, who invented the new characters for all new or different. They're the ones who made the X-Men as I think of the X-Men. And really, these early issues, it seems like they come off as almost like not a sort of a rip-off Fantastic Four, sort of a same sort of thing, except you have the Iceman instead of the Fireman. You know what I mean?
Well, you could almost
Yeah.
say that too, in the sense of this is like a family,
Yeah,
because like the Avengers were more like a random assortment of heroes that banded together. Fantastic Four was the family, and with the X-Men, you can call them students, but they all lived together and then they fought together.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And we all end up, going out and having all this teen angst and drama, which was, such a hit for them later on.
Right.
All right, so I think that's all we can pretty much say with the early issues of X-Men. We'll be back next time with the 70s. We'll have more people, and we'll have obviously a hell of a lot more to say because that's when we get into the good stuff.